Hey, everybody, this is Ed Mann, Mindy Ed and Don Rickles co-host. We're going to be featuring a clip of Mindy's dad today, and I just want to set it up ahead of time only because the audio is a little sucky. There's a little buzzy going on, but it's just such great material, such great crowd work. We wanted to play it anyway and get Sheba's reaction to it. So just to let you know ahead of time, not the best audio, but here we go. And enjoy the show. Well, hi, everybody. It's your favorite podcast. That's right. Mindy, Ed, and Don Rickles. I'm Ed Mann over there.
And yes, I'm Ginger Reiter. That's correct.
Oh, I got that right again.
I know.
Crazy. I don't know. I guess it's been about 28 years by now. I should get it right.
Yeah, that's right. You should get the last name.
Yeah. Well,
like Melissa Rivers, Mindy Rickles.
Now, did she keep her last name after she got married?
No, she
But
went
you legally
back
changed.
to her.
Yeah.
Yes, she went back to Rivers, I think, after, her father passed away.
Oh, maybe that's what it was.
That's a whole other story. But
That's a whole other thing. And
That's
Melissa, if
right.
you're listening, hey, come on in. The water's fine. We'd love to talk to you. We do want to talk to someone else, though, right now. And why are we talking about her when we have this lovely person?
We're so excited to be talking to her.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen.
I love her so much.
We love her a lot. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and read her bio first before she says anything at all.
Okay.
Born into a theatrical family, Jackie Mason was her dad, the comedian, and Ginger Reiter, playwright. Sheba has been performing since the age of 2 as a stage prop in her mother's play where she sat in a high chair and drank from her bottle.
I
Wow.
love that.
Was that like, did you get sense memory for that? I mean, that was...
Yeah.
Yeah, they just shoved me on the stage. It's cheaper than paying for a babysitter.
Eventually, the bottle turned into a microphone, and she has not left the stage since. She frequently stars as her mother in the Jackie Mason musical, which takes a close look at the untold story of her parents' 10-year love affair, which resulted in her birth. It tours around the country and even Canada, in Toronto, I'm told, and will be at the Santa Monica Playhouse here in L.A. in May. Based out of New York, Sheba's been doing stand-up almost every single night since the age of 19. And her album, Not Just a Whore.
I love that title.
You can hear it on
love it.
iTunes. Ladies and gentlemen, Sheba Mason. Hello, Sheba.
Hi.
Hello. Thank you for having me, you guys.
Thank you for coming on. I'm so happy this worked out. Sheba, surprised us and came to LA recently. I haven't seen you, in like a year, 2 years. And It was so great. We had so much fun together when I see you, and I love that.
Well, we had so much fun.
When we toured together.
Yeah.
We toured together, Ed.
Yes, I know. I remember. I was around. I remember hearing all about it.
You
10
didn't
short
come on
years
that
ago.
tour 10 years ago. That's a long time. But
Unbelievable.
Yeah, with
we
Jill
did.
Kimmel. Yeah, you were with Jill.
That's right. In New Jersey and Florida. And I had the best time on the stage, but mostly off. Because we had a lot of laughs. We really did. We drove around in a little car. Your boyfriend's car, Ian, who is Jackie Mason in your show, which is so interesting that he plays your father. How does that work out?
Well, it's funny. He auditioned for the role. I didn't know him at all. He just answered an ad.
Oh, that's how you met him.
Wow.
Yeah, I met him.
See, I didn't know that.
But he's actually really only 2 years older than me, so he's not, father age, really. But,
Right.
a lot of people say, like, oh, you like him because he's playing your father. But really, it's just that you end up with whoever you're around, kind of,
Right.
Like, when you're in a play, you're together so much. Like, I was in Oklahoma. I once dated the guy who played Curly. You know what I mean? So, I don't know if it's, like, because...
Listen, I don't want to say anything. I also dated Curly. But that was many years after
It was you.
Yes, after you. I
Yeah.
was not in Oklahoma, but I dated Curly, and it was on, it was off.
Unfortunately, I was Shemp, so I didn't get the opportunity. But sorry, Three Stooges reference. Go ahead.
Yeah. And so, we started dating back then. And then, whatever we are now. But he does a really, really good Jackie Mason.
Oh, he's amazing.
Oh, we've heard it. It's incredible.
Yeah.
It's really
It's
something.
really fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah,
And,
yeah.
you know, we haven't seen the show. We have to see that show. I can't
I
wait.
know. We've got to
You
see
know, we're
it.
definitely going to see it. And hopefully when you come to LA, we'll see it. And
Well, you're going to be in it.
we're
Now we're
going
gonna
to be
be
in
in
it,
it. How
which
about
I'm very
this?
excited about that also. Yes.
Got to go over my acting notes and figure out what to do.
You're not far from Santa Monica, right?
No, not
Well,
far.
we're
No,
not at all.
no,
Yeah.
no.
I mean,
like
in
30
LA,
minutes,
you know,
maybe.
yeah.
Everything's 30 minutes.
Yeah.
That's right, which
Yeah.
is good.
Yeah.
And I mean, lately, are you just you're doing shows? Do you do shows like every single night, or how does that work?
Yeah, what's the
Are you
schedule?
constantly?
Well, stand up wise, I do perform pretty much every night. In addition to the clubs in the city, I think, I run my own room called Sheba's Speakeasy Comedy Club, which I actually started in the pandemic because nobody had anywhere to perform. And this was technically outside. It was upstairs in a covered courtyard. And so it was like legal, it was socially distanced and safe and everybody wore masks, but it was the only real focus show in town for almost a year. So I kind of kept
Wow.
it going. Yeah. And like a bunch of people were coming by because everybody was so desperate for stage time that wasn't in a park. Everything was in a park, so unfocused.
Right.
So this was like a
Right.
real room, and like Louis C.K. was coming a lot and Attell and like, it was amazing. You'd see people that room opened in in July of 2020, and nothing else really opened until April of 2021. So like the whole winter, you'd see people like
Wow.
sitting there in their coats, freezing, but everyone was just dying to go somewhere and be around people and have a laugh.
Yeah, sure.
And it was
Right.
food and yeah.
Oh, that sounds like it was so great.
It
Wow.
must have been wonderful. I mean, all we had here was Gelson's. I mean, they were open so we could go shopping, for food.
Yeah,
But
there was really.
nothing.
I mean, no clubs were open. No.
The clubs were shut down. In fact,
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
the last stand-up you did before the pandemic was like a day before they closed
That's
the town
right.
down at the Laugh
Uh-huh.
Factory.
That's
Oh,
right.
really?
Yeah,
Yeah,
And
yeah.
we had some dates scheduled, and all of them, of course, had to be canceled. It
Yeah,
was
that's
really,
right.
Yeah,
Were
such
there
a shame.
people trying to do shows outside and stuff like
Yes,
that?
they
Yeah.
did.
Yes.
At the Hollywood Roosevelt, I think they were
That's
doing
right.
some shows there outside.
Pop-ups. They were
Yeah, yeah.
pop-ups. Yeah.
Because everyone was just
right.
dying to do something. In Florida, they
Right.
did a show in somebody's driveway. You got the whole neighborhood to come with their lawn
Oh,
chair.
you're kidding.
Yeah, like like a driveway that was like up on a little bit of a slope, so it felt like a stage.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So Sheba, you do stand up all the time, and obviously your show is about your parents, but your stand up act. How did that get started? I mean, I obviously you got the gene, like Mindy got the gene, that you're funny as can be. Tell me about it. How did your act develop? How did it start?
Well, I did theater my whole life. I sing, and I've done musical theater my whole life. And I actually was going to go to the University of Miami for theater, but I was dying to be in New York. I was 18. I just couldn't wait to get to New York and start auditioning for theater and stuff. So I moved to New York. I took a year off before I went to college. And I actually started waitressing at a comedy club. And I fell in love with it. Somebody told me to take their class for free. And I just fell in love with stand-up. And I liked the way you could do comedy without having to wait for somebody to say yes. I didn't have to like audition for play.
Right.
With all these tall girls who dance and stuff, like, once you really move to New York City and you audition for plays, suddenly you're not, you have to really wait to get anything.
Right, right.
So I
Sure.
really loved it. I fell in love with it, and it was fun to be in control. And so one of the managers there, a guy named Buddy Flip, like started helping me. I took his class, and we would meet individually, and he would like help me formulate material in the beginning.
Sure.
Oh, that's so great.
So we were talking with a friend of ours the other day. It's on another podcast. His name is Steve Cochran out of Chicago, and he's doing stand-up again, something he used to do before he was on the radio and throughout. And we asked him just on, how many minutes you got together, and he said, I couldn't believe it, 90.
Wow.
I mean, that's like a book. I mean, how much material do you think you've got at the ready? How many minutes?
Honestly, at this point, I'm doing it like almost 20 years, so
Right.
I do have a lot. I've gone through like
Yeah.
a lot of trial and error, probably like 2 hours at this point, but
Amazing.
I try to discard stuff that's already been on my album and start anew, but that doesn't always happen.
Right, right.
You
Because
slide
so
into
many
something.
things, like certain things lead into what could be new, but you kind of like sometimes need this joke in order to like get to this other new idea you had. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Right.
So it's hard to like discard everything the way Louis C.K. just discards everything. I admire that so much. Just as a whole new hour,
Wow.
But
That's amazing. I mean, did your dad, how did he do material? Because I know my dad kind of had an act that he did often, I mean, it varied some, but he did do, one act. It's not like today where he threw away the material and did a whole new act. But how did your dad work? Did he have set material for a long time, or?
Well, your dad did a lot of crowd work, right? But
He did do a lot of crowd work, but it was planned into
Yeah.
the act. He
Yeah,
wasn't
he had his
just going
chunks,
off.
but he didn't really change
Yeah.
the chunks. It was
That's
just,
right.
yeah.
it was
That's
so
right.
different back then. People, like, you didn't have this pressure of constantly having new material.
I know, isn't that funny? Yeah, you really did.
Yeah. Yeah, people
So-
liked your act.
Right,
Like,
and you did your act.
Yeah.
And of
I
course,
mean-
your dad had a show.
Well, he had several one-man Broadway shows, and they were spread out over the years. They were like 90 minutes each. And a lot of the time, he had a lot of new material because it's Broadway, so I guess you have to constantly. But he also did a lot of old stuff that he would sandwich in. They
Oh,
were his
really?
go-tos. Yeah, I mean, he did have a lot of old stuff, but I'm sure you witnessed this too. He was just constantly writing.
No, we
Well,
never
it's
witnessed
funny.
the
My
writing in our
dad
family.
never wrote.
Never wrote anything.
He never wrote
Really?
anything. I know, it's so weird. No, I guess, because I'm like, how did you do that? I don't know. I did it. How do I know I did it? But I think that he, started off like at the Slate Brothers, which was a club in like the late, I'm going to say 50s, early
Late 50s,
60s.
yeah, here in LA. Uh-huh.
Right. And he, was kind of doing impersonations. Then they were like called imitations, but impersonations of his aunt and different people in like the bar at the club. And I guess he would get heckled a lot by the guys sitting at the bar, the drunks, whoever. And he started like insulting them or whatever. And that's when,
Wow.
that's how he started with the insults. And then he started to tell stories. And I think he just listened to this, what he did in this act. And that's how it sort of slowly became an act. But he never wrote. He did not
I'm
write
not-
anything. So he just would listen, when he was preparing for a show, he'd just listen to himself doing his act and things like that. And that's really how he did it. But no, I've never seen him write.
So your dad would
a day
sit
in his life.
with a pen and paper and literally write? What was his
Constantly.
process?
Yeah, like he had like, napkins and napkins full of things. He would sit around, I mean, even with my mother and like just discuss his act, like constantly changing things. And he was like, obsessive about it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, it's so interesting. And I mean, of course they'd met each other, but they didn't work. My dad and your dad did not work really the same. I mean, of course your dad did Broadway, which my dad did not do. He did, Carnegie Hall with Frank Sinatra, but he never did a one-man show like that. But I mean, they knew each other,
I'm
but they didn't
surprised
really
they
go in
didn't-
the same circles. I don't
That's
think.
so weird, isn't it?
Yeah, that's
I know,
funny.
that is very strange. Well, did your dad do the Catskills very much or not?
We did do the Catskills a lot.
Yeah.
Did your dad?
No.
No,
No,
never-
he didn't. He
really
did
do
it
that,
like
did he?
very little in the beginning. And then I remember once going to the Catskills with him when I was like a teenager in my 20s. But no, he never
You know
did the
what
cat. He went into Vegas and that became his main base. Vegas, Lake Tahoe, Reno, places like that.
Interesting. It's almost like even though he's a Jew, because he kind of ended up with Frank Sinatra, he didn't have to be like, my father
A
was
Jewish,
real
typical
original.
Jewish. Yeah. So you felt that what your father did like a Jewish kind of an act or?
Well, it was definitely about Jews a lot,
Right.
and they walk into a restaurant, I don't want to sit here, and my wife don't want to sit here, and he would talk about how Jews complain all the time and stuff. And I kind of think your father was actually a little more universal. That's not to say that non-Jews didn't like my father, but the Catskills is all Jews,
Right. Of
He
course.
did do
yes.
Atlantic City, which is mixed, but
Oh yeah, my dad did Atlantic City a ton.
Yeah, that's a mixed
ton.
crowd. Mhm.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a lot of summers in Atlantic City on the boardwalk, looking at, walking by the woman with the one arm and a leg, laying on a bed on a table
Right.
in front of Caesars, and doing card tricks.
Yeah,
I
the
mean, there
horse
was
diving off a
always,
steel pier. It's
yeah,
like,
there
what's
was
going
always
on?
somebody, a guy with a monkey. Yeah.
was that
So-
from the time you were like little?
Oh, yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
So your
I mean,
whole
from-
family would go?
Yes, we would all go. We all went everywhere, pretty much. I mean, unless it was little shows during the year where he did one-nighters, but mostly in the summer, we would always, if he was in Atlantic City, we would go to Atlantic City for 2 weeks or however long it was. And then maybe he'd do something in New York. But in Las Vegas, I said we would go, maybe it was like 6 weeks. We would spend the summer there in Atlantic City. I mean, in Las Vegas with my dad. Yeah. So, I mean, it was nice that we were all together. He was on a very different schedule. My dad and my mother were on a very different schedule than myself and my brother because when I was younger, you know, my mother would go to the show. She'd meet him for dinner in between shows. And then his second show was like at midnight. And then she'd come home with him at like 1 something in the morning. But then when I got older, I always wanted to go to dinner. That was my thing. So I would get dressed up, you know, if I was 16, 17, or I'd bring a girlfriend to Vegas and we'd sit in the dressing room and people would come in like Dudley Moore and all these, you know, interesting people. Yeah, they'd come into the dressing room and then we would go to dinner, which I've said before, at like 10 o'clock at night, like a huge dinner, like beef bourguignon or beef Wellington and a Caesar salad. And
easy to go to sleep on that, yeah.
Yeah, a huge meal. So I love doing that.
Wow,
But,
that seems like so much fun.
It was fun. That's where I learned to make a Caesar salad in Las Vegas at the House of Lords at the Sahara. And that's the one thing I know how to make. Is that right, Ed?
That's
I know
about
how to
it,
make a Caesar salad.
Yeah. You always get the lemon, just the right
And
amount of lemon.
Matzo brie was the one thing my mother knew how to make. So I do the Caesar salad from the House of Lords.
Right.
And then my mother's main dish, the matzo brie. And then I'm done. And then Ed basically does everything else.
So when we have a dinner party, it's like, okay, what are we going to do? And Mindy raises her hand. Matzo brie and Caesar? Matzo brie and Caesar? Matzo brie and Caesar.
And then Ed's like, let's not do that again, Mindy. We know you only know two things, like Tourette's. Matzo brie, Caesar.
And I just put Cajun seasoning on everything.
Yeah, he puts that. And I'm
I
like,
call it a unique
stop that.
Recipe. Okay.
That's right.
But so Sheba, we're way off. But so when your dad would work, Sheba, I mean, he would kind of go off on his own, I would imagine, or did he bring people around? Your wife, his wife, you. What would be the scenario for when your dad went to work in those early years?
Well, so imagine. So my father's career was doing pretty well, and he was on the Ed Sullivan Show a lot until he didn't give him the finger. I don't want to do this to you, but he didn't give him the finger, but he went like this because Lyndon Johnson had to make an address and he didn't know. And his time, like when you're a comedian and you're on one of these shows, you really know your exact 5 minutes. He was like 3 minutes in, they started waving him off. And this is also addressed in the play, this very momentous occasion.
Really?
Lyndon Johnson made an address. So then his career was completely in the toilet, which is why he was in Florida, down on his luck. He was way up here, and then people were paying like $10 a ticket to see him at like the Newport Hotel in Miami Beach, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And he met my mother had just moved to Florida 3 days prior, and she has been dating somebody else, and she was a teacher of the hearing impaired, a belly dance on the side. She moved there with her mother. And she met him. She was going to school for her master's degree in Miami, and she was sitting at Wolfie's Delicatessen, and he sends somebody over to the table. It was his friend Wooly, John Wooly, who's also in the play. He says, "You want to meet Jackie Mason?" And my grandmother was a very pushy Jewish mother. She goes, "Of course she does, certainly." So they go and they meet him, and he starts asking my mother a question. "So are you in Miami a long time?" And my grandmother goes, "Well, we just moved here 3 days ago. Let me tell you, I've always been a great fan of yours and I loved your act." And he would ask my mother a question and my grandmother would keep answering. And he would go, "Well, she must also be a ventriloquist. Every time I ask her a question, the answer comes out of your mouth." That whole scene is in the play. And that's how they met. And so my mother was really reluctant to go out with him in the beginning because, he was a lot older than her. She wasn't necessarily physically attracted to him. She, just wanted to get her master's degree, maybe meet someone normal,
Right.
So my grandma really pushed her. She said, "You'll go out, you'll have a pleasant dinner with an interesting man. Maybe he'll toss a few belly dancing jobs your way. I'm not saying go to bed with him, not the first night, make him suffer a little." So within 1 hour of their first date, she really fell in love with him.
Wow.
That's wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah. And so then it was quite a ride for like 10 years. And then I was born I don't want to say exactly what year I was born, but I was born. I mean, I guess anybody could look me up, but anyway.
Let them guess. Let them figure it out.
That's right.
It's so easy to say your age when you're 27. But anyway,
Right.
I'm not laughing because you're not 27, but I like the joke. Yeah.
But, my father was your father was kind of like a really respectable family guy. He was really happy to have, one woman. He was, a genuinely, they were just different people. My
Right.
father had grown up kind of a squelched Orthodox Jew as a rabbi. He didn't really, get sexual until he was like in his late 20s, at all, because that's kind of the way he grew up, a little bit sheltered,
Right.
And so he
right.
had to break away from, being a rabbi and being religious, because while he was a rabbi, he would start to make jokes and he was so funny. And then women would start throwing themselves at him, because they love a funny guy. So
Yeah.
he got really overwhelmed with women. He was a real womanizer. So even while he was
Wow.
seeing my mother, he was never really true to her. But she kind of just put up with it because she was so crazy about him. It was never, she just put up with it.
Right.
His manager, meanwhile, who he had met way before my mother, who financed a lot of his projects, was very much like controlling and very like, really against anyone he would date, which is a natural, normal feeling. But when my mother had a baby, everybody wanted to have his baby, and she had his baby. She was the only one out of all these women he was sleeping with. And, it was, his manager was like really, really upset about it. That was when he started to open on Broadway when I was about 1.5. He was around until then. And then when he opened on Broadway, it was The World According to Me. Everything just really changed. And so then he wasn't around, and he was like denying that he ever had a baby. And then my mother had to, get child support, and there was a paternity suit, and which is also addressed in the play in a funny way.
Right. I mean, didn't you say your mother was like on the Phil Donahue show or something with you about
Yeah, we
that?
were on like Current Affair, Entertainment Tonight, all sorts of
Right.
shows. And there is a funny song in the play with the paternity suit called "I Never Met This Yenta." And he's like on the stand saying how he never met her. And gradually you learn that he really did know her very well. So they were
Wow.
together like 10 years. And it wasn't even off and on. They were always in touch. But, she would even travel with him. She went to Atlantic City many times, California and stuff like that, even while she was pregnant. We wonder if it wasn't for his manager, what would things have been like? But you often see, controlling managers, like Elvis's manager, he stopped him from performing.
Right.
Yeah. Colonel Tom Parker. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, why couldn't he perform in Europe?
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
would have killed it
Oh, wow.
internationally. Yeah.
Confronting high credit card debt can feel scary, but the good news is, if you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt, financial relief options are now available. National Debt Relief is currently offering debt relief designed to reduce what you owe and put you on the fast track to becoming debt-free. If you qualify for debt relief, you may be able to pay back less than what you owe and save thousands of dollars. Just visit nationaldebtrelief.com. Imagine only paying one low monthly program payment you can afford and saving money as you become debt-free. National Debt Relief has already helped bring debt relief to over 550,000 U.S. consumers, earning thousands of five-star reviews and an A-plus rating with the Better Business Bureau. You're stronger than your credit card debt. Let today be the day you start turning things around. Take the first step and visit nationaldebtrelief.com to see what debt relief you may qualify for. That's nationaldebtrelief.com.
What if I told you the tossing and turning all night and waking up sore could be the result of sleeping on the wrong pillow? Sounds too good to be true? Hear me out. Coop Sleep Goods pillows are designed for every type of sleeper. Side, back, stomach, and everything in between. They adjust to how you sleep, keeping you supported and comfortable all night. And right now, new customers get 20% off site-wide. From new parents navigating sleep schedules, to wellness-minded sleepers focused on recovery, to grandparents exploring new hobbies, Coop helps everyone sleep better and wake up actually feeling refreshed. There's a lot waiting for you tomorrow. Let Coop help you show up feeling rejuvenated and ready to go. Get 20% off your first order and try Coop risk-free with a 100-night sleep better guarantee at coopsleepgoods.com/comedypodcast. That's COOP sleepgoods.com/comedypodcast.
Wow, I didn't even know that. I know, it's so interesting. I mean, my dad had a manager, Joe Scandori, who was this Italian. I mean, I was just a little girl, and my dad always made it like, he was in the mob or something. But I knew him as like Uncle Joe, and he was sort of part of the family. But I think my parents, they really my mother and my father really ran his career, even though he had a manager and an agent. They decided, especially my mother would decide, I think, with him where you're going to go and how long is it going to be, because we don't want to take the kids out of school for too long. I mean, in those days, you could just get a tutor and you could leave school for weeks at a time. So I think they really, picked and chose when they could what he would be doing.
Were you happy to get a tutor and leave school? Like, it was kind of fun to take a break from school?
Yeah, it was fun to take a break. And I we would stay in these houses in Vegas for long stretch. I didn't love that, but I loved the nightlife, going out at night, maybe going to my dad's show, and we would sit in the audience and he would introduce me. And
That's
then
fun.
the dinners, and the people I would meet. I loved all of that. I always wanted to stay in the hotel. We would stay sometimes, but my mother always wanted to stay in a house. The hotels sometimes would have houses. My mother thought it was more of a regular kind of a life.
A regular life with security guards.
Right. They always, they always thought we would be kidnapped. I guess because of Frank Sinatra. I found this out later. Because Frank Sinatra's son, Frank Jr. was once kidnapped and put in the trunk of a car or something. But there was a security guard that would come, with the gun, and he would just sit in the living room.
Wow.
And that was his job, to just sit there through the night until my parents got home. But what I was saying was, he'd just sit there. We'd talk to him, whatever. I didn't know who he was. I didn't really get it. But, he was there. And it was like, I always loved the hotel, though. So my parents tell the story when we moved into a house in Brentwood, like the first house they had, I was like 4, and I walked in and I was like, where's the lobby? Because I was so used to, being in hotels. So it was, it was interesting for sure. It was different,
unique,
and I loved to take my friends.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But it was unique, not to interrupt, but it's unique in terms of the show business community, because this didn't happen very often.
No.
I mean, Sheba's obviously, got a completely different family story arc. But the Newharts had a similar one to you. They would bring their kids around, which we've talked about.
They would bring their kids,
a couple of times.
But we've said how other, stars in Vegas would often most likely leave their kids at home, maybe cheat on the road.
Yeah.
That was very common. And the kids and the wife would stay at home and they would come home, and that's how it was set up. So this was kind of unique, but the Newharts were the same way. So that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of male celebrities take advantage of the fact, well, honey, I'm on the road. And then the wife is so frustrated and miserable all the time.
Right, exactly.
And it's like kind of wrong to be married to someone if you're going to do that,
That's right, yeah.
So your dad toured, he worked almost to the end, didn't he? I mean, what was his lifespan in terms of being on stage?
Yeah, he worked up until I think he was like about 90 and 91 when he's like really stopped working. But he did.
That's
he did
exactly
work
my dad.
Really? Because when you're a performer, you don't even want to, you don't want to stop,
Right. So he passed away. How old was he?
93.
Oh, wow. See, so it's like my dad worked up until, he was 90, passed away at like 91. So it's very similar. Yeah, there was never a question that he wasn't going to work. He always wanted to work.
I had the blessing of seeing your dad in Atlantic City because you got me tickets.
Oh, that's right. That's
right.
Did you?
I know. I wasn't there. That's
we
right,
went backstage and everything. I have a picture with him.
That's right. I remember
we just told him he was there.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. He was great. And he was a very close friend of my dad's. That's funny. That's very funny.
So Sheba, where do you see your act going? Not the stage play you're doing, but your act. Even a better question: how have you seen it evolve since you started doing it 20 years ago?
Wow, that's a really good question. Well, when you first start doing comedy, you're urged to kind of stick to the basics. It's almost like paint by number kind of style because you don't really know where you don't even know where to begin. But as you evolve, it becomes easier to write a joke because you can kind of see all right, this is definitely going to work. there's no way this is going to work. But you're like 99% accuracy of like, you know what I mean? Like you kind of like can see rhythmically and the sort of words you need to use. Like you're like, all right, this is how we're going to do this. And it just becomes a lot faster, you know?
Right.
So the next thing I'm going to do is hopefully at the end of this, well, we're making this documentary about Jackie Mason. And we do have some people on board, like Colin Quinn is doing it. We're working on getting other people.
Wonderful.
But, and you have a blip in it.
Right, that's right.
So at the end of that, I'm going to probably film a special at Rodney's to like have it come full circle, you know, because that's one of the places he worked a lot was.
Really?
Yeah, it was Dangerfields. Now it's called Rodney's. It's a new owner. But I'm going to, you know, hopefully film a special there. That's the thing now is everybody films a special and then they just either put it on YouTube. If they don't have back end, they try to monetize it. That's what all my peers tell me.
Yeah. And Judd Apatow is doing all these specials on different comics and like
documentaries,
documentaries, right.
Oh,
But, of course, one man shows or what? Yeah, that's the big thing, like on Netflix and all of that.
We'd be so proud to see you do that, Sheba. That would be amazing.
Yeah, that would be great.
That'd be incredible. And apparently, you have enough material to do 4 of them.
That's right.
Well, yeah, but like I said, so many things loop into things, which is why it's like, you know, like I'll have a joke that I wrote like 10 years ago and I'll think of something new, but it's so much better if I preface it with like this, you know, with this background, you know?
Right. Of course.
You know, like so it's like, it's a little bit of but other comics don't seem to have that problem. But, you know, now like the world has changed so much from the time that our fathers were
my God.
With social media. On the one hand, it's good because you can be a self-made person, but on the other hand, it's just so oversaturated that it gets trickier to really stand out.
Mm-hmm.
That's so true. Exactly.
One last thing, and I know it haunted Mindy for a while when she was doing her stand-up, is the concept of bombing. And every comic does.
Yeah, it haunted me, right.
Well, it did. I mean, that's something that really bothered you. Some comics are like, oh, well, screw them. You know, well, what's your attitude towards that?
Well, I was very sensitive, yes.
Yeah, you're very sensitive. But what's your attitude towards that, Sheba?
It's like you're
if you have
way
a bad
too
night.
hard on yourself. I mean, I've seen you perform a lot. I thought you were really funny. I never saw you
It's hilarious.
Yeah, it's funny.
Right. But I mean, I always had very thin skin. I mean, my father would always say, you know, rejection. It's weird that I was such a performer because I was, you know, very, very sensitive and not somebody that could take a lot of stuff, even though I learned to have a little bit of a tougher skin.
But Sheba, how do you feel about that? I mean, I don't know if it happens much at all because you've been doing it so well and for so long. But there must be a night, you know, where something happens and you're like,
A lot of the time you'll do shows where the settings are just almost impossible, you know, like those shows. It's like you can easily bomb because like it's almost like anybody. I do a lot of private parties too, and I have to make sure that those are set up, you know, really well. Now, if I've ever bombed, I don't take it to so much heart because I feel like I did the best I could, you know?
Right. You've been around long enough to know.
That would be my assumption.
It's not you, right?
You get mad at yourself if you feel like you didn't do, but like, you know, it used to be like if I'm tired from an airplane or if I'm this and that, but now it's like I've learned how to like even transcend all of that and just like get into like automatic pilot mode if I have to.
Right,
So
right.
That's not to say that I'm such a genius, but you know, it's a job. So I just try to like, I try to compartmentalize either how tired I am or if something happened to me or, you know, whatever, personal stuff. And just, I just try to like do it and rip through it and just do the best I can, you know?
Well, you say rip through it because I remember having seen you do a couple of times, whether it was online or whatever, and rip through it is kind of what you do. Your pacing is really, really quick. And I think it keeps the audience on the edge of their seat too, because they're like, oh, well, seriously, because it's like, oh, it's almost like not a sprinter, but, you know, but somebody who you kind of want to catch up to, you know?
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes if I do shows for older people, I have to go really slow and I have to work clean. And those are hard shows. You know, I have one coming up, but they pay better. You know, they pay.
Oh, really?
So, you know, but so you do the best you can. And, you know, you never want to tell someone in the audience that they're old or act like they're old. You want to act like they're cool, you know?
Right, exactly.
And like, why aren't they cool? Just because they're old? Like they have more stories than anybody, right? So
for sure.
Right. Yeah, they got a lot.
Comics patronize old people and tell them they're old, you know, or say, oh, you don't know this, you know, like, why make fun of age? You know, it's going to happen to everybody if you're lucky.
Yeah. Well, yeah, her father would do that from time to time. Somebody was sitting in the front row.
That's
It's
different
like,
if he does
why
it.
aren't you in a home? So, and I thought
That's
maybe
different. He did it in
that's
like an
different.
art, that's him,
That's him.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I thought we'd actually go ahead and segue into something. This was a show that, because we always play a clip. And Sheba, please feel free to comment on it, say anything, like, oh, wow, that reminds me of whatever, or that's whatever. You can say whatever you like. But we'll do a few minutes. This is Mindy's dad at Mohegan Sun in 2011. You can see the whole show on our YouTube channel, the Don Rickles channel. And I'll start it at a specific place and just let it roll for a while. You guys, pipe in.
Great.
Stop the goddamn band, for Christ's sake. What the hell's the matter with you, for crying out loud? This is a big night. 40 million Jews in a football field. I count 2 Jews and about. I'll tell you this. Hello? I'm Lou Gehrig. I want to thank the Yankees. Anyway.
Lou Gehrig.
Hey, folks, you got to give me a minute because I'm doing this as a favor. I'll tell you this. I don't come to Connecticut and watch a bird die. I don't need this. I was out in the highway and the guy, hey, look at that, Lou. A bird's dying. Jesus. I spoke to the home. You're going back. You got to bring that with class. This is an important job. You do good here, you got a chance to go to another hotel down the road, Louis' place. There's a lot of activity here. I was out in the highway, 3 guys are walking around. Look at that out grass. This is an important night. Look at the front. I'm working at home, for Christ's sake. Look at this. Look at the old lady sitting there. You got about an hour, tops. I'll tell you this. No, I'm kidding you, darling. You got years. I'll tell you this. Rubber chest, just in case, okay? Is that your mother? You laugh, you son of a bitch, because you know you're going to come into a lot of money, huh? You still do the trick with the old lady, huh? Come on, Rose, try to reach the medicine. Anyway. You got to bring that with them. Did you pass away, for Christ's sake?
Look at the Joe Mealy.
This is an important night. This hotel is skyrocketing. You see the Mohegans outside? They're all in their cars going, hey, 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 hey. We ought to kiss their ass so they don't attack the fort, for Christ's sake. Any Indians here? No, they don't come here. They just sit in the hall going, we got money, hookah, hookah. Look at this, the hooker and the guy. Can't you get here on time, goddammit? You been up in the room giving a... You're not a Jew, are you? You're not Jewish, are you? How'd you get those seats?
I guess he is a Jewish comic.
Yeah. That's the whole thing. Now you ruined the whole goddamn show. I swear to God. No, I want to do a good job, but you ruined the whole show. Thanks for dressing up. Come in tomorrow night in your underwear, for Christ's sake. No, I ruined the whole show. I want to do a good job. I swear to God, What's your first name, kid? What's your first name? Not you, the other dummy. What's your name? What's your name? Get up. Get out, goddammit, hurry up. Now get out. I don't want you in here. Get the hell out. Go over there. Go over there. I wanted to be with
That's
you
how he
ladies
talks
so
to
bad.
me.
Jesus.
He did not.
I'm much older, but Spider's still alive, for Christ's sake. Why are you standing? What's the matter with you? How old are you? 20. Still like yourself in the bathroom? I'll say this. And your mother goes, what are you doing, Stephen? My homework. I'll tell you this. It'll be over soon. I'll tell you this. What are you doing? Hold on to your boot, right? I saw that. Nothing to be ashamed of. I hold on to mine, too. My guy's name is Spider. What's your guy's name? Harvey. Harvey? Say hello to Spider. Son, but you got a little movement there. Let me sit down. Take Harvey to summer camp. Real Italian. See, they walk like that, see? That's from the olive oil on their ass. They can't walk right. God bless them. They need the Italians so they can get a haircut. That's the whole goddamn thing. That's what I do. I make fun of people. And that lady with the blouse, that's a smart blouse, lady. If you're in Hawaii, I'll tell you this. She's dressed up. That's your wife? Jesus Christ. I'll tell you this. No, I'm kidding. Ooh. Must have been the truck. Anyway, look at this. Now I got him looking at her. Jesus Christ. I'm sleeping with a truck. Am I wrong? You guys, take a look. The one with the flowers on the dress over here. Nah, I'm kidding you, Di. You're a stunning lady. God bless you. How long you married? Are you a mute? Nah, how long you married? 13 years. Second wife? It's the second wife. Don't lie to me, you son of a... Yeah, God bless you. Make love. Do what the Jews do. Circle a bed and get an estimate and then pop her. I'll tell you this. Is this too fast for you, Ma? Better start laughing or you're going back in the home. I'm telling you that right now. God bless you. That's your son? No, that's not your son, is it? Can you hear me, lady? Is that your mother? Just some old hooker sitting there in the front, goddamn. I got an uncle in Miami Beach. He walks like this. He never wears a jock. Wow, wow, wow. And my aunt thinks the noise is coming from the sandals. Wow, wow, wow. You ever watch those old Jews in Florida in the health club? Can I get a rub, Herbie? Then you get the other type. Hold the elevator doors. You like that, eh, you Nazi bastard? I saw you laughing. The fat guy laughing, that Nazi bastard. I saw him. Fat guy sitting there like he's normal.
Was your dad ever in the armed services, Sheba?
No. Can you imagine that?
Well, I could imagine that Don did, but he was. Yeah.
Yeah, that's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Wow. He's really funny. I mean, come on, he's so funny.
Well, so was your dad. He was hysterical. He was absolutely a riot. But we just want to play a few minutes of that just to give you an idea before he goes into the song, and then he does the Jimmy Cagney.
He loved the singing.
He loved the singing. But the first 8-9 minutes or so, he would just play, you know.
Yeah,
he would just,
right.
You know, make fun of Joe Mealy and the conductor and the band and the audience. It was just great. And then he had his thing. But yeah. Do you do much crowd work, Sheba? Do you ever talk to the audience?
I like to do crowd work. Yeah, mostly when I just get bored of my own material. Just
go into the audience, right?
Yeah, I like it. Amuses me, So.
Oh, sure.
Well, listen, before we go, just briefly, can you give us a little synopsis of what the show's all about? The one about, your dad, obviously, and your mom, and you play your mom.
Yeah. So the Jackie Mason musical is about their 10-year affair, circa Miami Beach, 1977. So it's a real fun, like nostalgic ride. So there's a cast of 7. I play my mother, Ginger. He plays Jackie Mason. There's a really funny waitress, like from the Rascal House, circa Miami Beach, like, that old Yenta type of waitress who's really surly, like $2 gee, thanks, like that kind of a waitress.
Right.
And then there's a really pretty young waitress named Trixie who kind of represents, all the other girls he was schnooping, but she's like a pretty young waitress. And then there's a woman who plays, my grandmother. And it's a whole musical comedy. There's a song in it called The Early Bird Special, which showcases, they would go from coffee shop to coffee shop. That was their thing, And then, like, I never met this Yenta. And, it's really funny. It's not at all, it's got a lot of heart, but it's really funny. And it's a fun, nostalgic journey. And the roles that you people would play is there's like a really fun scene at the Rascal House where this couple is fighting and they're packing up a doggy bag, a Jewish couple. You get like a fun little scene that wouldn't require a ton of rehearsal, but it's a fun.
And not a ton of acting at all. I mean, that's
us.
We always
bags is our
Ed
life.
likes to take doggy bags home. I'll have like a piece of steak and there'll be like a little nub of the steak left, and Ed's like, let's take that home. We're going to take that home. A little piece of lint next to a mashed potato. We're taking that. Can we get a box for that?
And conversely, we have these friends that we go out to dinner with often, and they don't take leftovers at all. And we're like,
oh, no, never, ever.
no, they will go unnamed.
So
but it was like,
they're
why?
horrified.
Why don't you take it home? He's, I grew up and
Everything was leftovers, and his
Everything
whole
was leftovers in the
refrigerator
house.
was full of tin foil. So he
So
not only does
Mama.
yes, so exactly. So not only does he not take the food home, he has a fear of foil, basically. So between those two things, he's got a lot of other problems that I can't even get into right now. But yeah, so all of that he can't. So we just take, we have like 6 boxes, and the maitre d' takes it out to the car.
And look, Mindy, don't be
Exactly.
surprised if Sheba doesn't work in fear of foil into her next act. I mean, that's a fun line.
Are you kidding? I want to go out with this couple.
Fear of foil. Now on Broadway.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, Sheba, if you would, there's a link to your show, or to how you can get tickets to your show, or anything about the show is on a particular website. Can you spell that out? We'll put it on the page as well, where people can see it on the podcast platforms.
Great.
But what is it?
So it's just theJackieMasonMusical.com. And that's like, THE, Jackie Mason, JACKIE, Mason, MASON, musical.com.
Perfect.
Great.
Perfect. I'm so glad we can get that in there.
Oh, I'm so
Thank
happy we got to do this. I really
It's so
am.
fun.
I know. I have to come to New York and see you. And you'll
Yeah.
come back to LA. That was great.
I shall be here in May, so we
That's
better figure
right.
that out.
That's right.
Yeah, they got to clear the decks,
Okay,
Mindy.
I'm going to
Gotta clear
start
the decks.
rehearsing. Okay. I'll
I'll go
work
get
on
the
my
doggy bags.
character arc.
Yeah.
All right.
We'll get that
Great.
going.
As soon as we get the contract, I'll send you guys the script,
Okay. Perfect.
Sure, have fun. Wow, everybody.
I have nothing else going on.
We have nothing to do.
That's right.
There's nothing to do here. Nothing to
Right,
see.
That's right.
This is it. This is all we ever do. We wake up once a week. We wake up and we do this podcast. It's crazy. But Sheba, thank you so much for
Thank you.
coming on the show. All
Thank
right.
you guys.
Oh,
So
All right.
great. Okay. I'll
And thank
talk to you
the
soon.
audience. Yeah, and the
Yes,
audience. Thank you for putting
everybody.
up with all of this crazy banter on
Yes.
Mindy, Ed, and Don Rickles. And we'll see you next time.
Thank you. Bye.